Welcome back. A week after Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha announced a phased reopening of universities under strict guidelines, ending a 6-month closure occasioned by the coronavirus pandemic, Elvis Koskei is in Eldoret to check the status of the colleges and universities in the region ahead of the reopening. Elvis, good afternoon. What more can you tell us?
Good afternoon. Yes, indeed, we've been crisscrossing the Moi University in Nandi County and other TVET institutions, including the RVTTI, and currently we are at the African Institute of Research and Development Studies here in Eldoret. And of course, as you can see, we have a handful of students. I'm told by the school principal that about 400 students have already maybe reported back to school. Remember, this is the first day where the Cabinet Secretary in charge of education had directed maybe school to be reopened, especially the TVET institutions and the universities. Maybe you can start by introducing yourself.
My name is Purity Maseta. I'm a student here pursuing journalism and mass communication. Yeah.
Maybe academically, how are you affected by the COVID-19 pandemic?
I was supposed to sit for my final exam in June, but because of COVID-19, I was not able to sit for my final exam. So definitely, it has taken me a few steps back. Yeah.
How does it feel to get back to school?
It feels nice. I'm finally going to finish. Yeah, so I'm really, really happy to be back in school, and our teachers have really received us warmly, and COVID precautions have been taken, so yeah.
Thank you. Michelle, let's also hear from another student here. Maybe you can start by introducing yourself.
Peggy Ashley. I'm a student here in African Institute. I'm pursuing procurement, and in my final, I was to do my final exam in July. Yeah. COVID-19 has really affected us in studies because I was to finish my exam in July, then I was to join my university next year, but because of COVID-19, I'm supposed to do my exam next year, then join university next in 2021. Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's also engage the Chief Principal here, Mr. Nicholas Koech. What are some of the measures that you've put in place to ensure that maybe you follow the COVID-19 protocols?
Thank you so much, Elvis. My name is Nicholas Koech, the Chief Principal of African Institute of Research and Development Studies. Basically, I think this is a new normal. We've really been able to quite do a lot of work to ensure that students are reporting. Of course, first, when you come to the entrance, we've ensured that we've communicated the COVID protocol messages, the signages of wearing masks, of washing hands, of keeping social distance. So the first thing that we do when our visitors come, Elvis, is one is, and the students, of course, and the staff, we've taken, first we did a training in collaboration with TVETA and the private association of the Kenya National Association of Private Colleges. That is, I think, a month ago. That was facilitated through the RVTTI. And once you've come, of course, the State Department of TVET developed a list of around 96 protocols to be able to follow. And I think I want to report that we are glad that we were inspected, I think, 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure we did very well because we had done a self-assessment. As you can see around, we've ensured that even our students already have masks. We are providing also masks for our staff. When you come into the institution, we make sure that you wash your hands at the entrance, at the very entrance. Then we record your temperature. And then the second thing that we do is we record your details. If you are a student, for example, we have a register that you're going to sign. If you're a visitor visiting the institution, we also have a register that you sign so that in case we want to trace you back, we can be able to reach you. Thank you.
Any challenges that you've been encountering so far?
So far, we've not had an issue so much because, of course, I told you earlier, we've only had just around 400 students reporting. We still expect quite a number. Nationally, of course, because we have 6 branches across the country, 6 campuses of African Institute, that is in Kericho, Kisumu, Lodwar, Bungoma, and Nakuru. And here, we expect that maybe in the next 2 weeks, we expect that all our 4,000 plus students would have reported back. And so far, so good. We've not had any issue. I think we had already communicated to the students that this is what you will require. This is what you will be required to have. You will be required to have a mask. You will be able to take your details afresh, because sometimes people change numbers and even maybe they change residence and all that. So we are taking the details of even students afresh. We've ensured that even in our lecture rooms, of course, we have kept, this class used to hold around 15 students before. But now I think it can only hold around seven students. So I think those are the issues. This is a new normal. Of course, we need to ensure that for us as an institution, the safety of our staff and our students is very key, especially in line with the new pandemic. We are ensuring that at least we are really compliant, and we want to assure all students, even those who are yet to report, we want to tell them that as you prepare to come, please ensure, be informed that we have already taken care of your safety.
Lastly, are your teachers ready? What are the issues of the online teaching and graduation?
Again, 2 weeks ago, we did a training, an ODEL training, that was organized by the ministry, that is through the UNESCO and Microsoft Teams. We have trained our teachers. In fact, there is also another training going on today on e-learning. So for students who will not be able to report for whatever reason, I think going forward we are going to be integrating the face-to-face learning with online learning to ensure that we are able to reach everybody who is out there and wants to attend their classes. I think most of the students are now very happy to report back, and we are grateful for that.
Thank you very much, sir. That was Nicholas Koech, the Chief Principal of African Institute of Development here in Uasin Gishu County. And of course, he was outlining some of innovative measures that have put in place that will ensure that they comply with the health protocols that was outlined by the Ministry of Health. Back to Institute.
Many thanks. And still on matters education, the Ministry of Education issued a circular on reopening of universities beginning today. But issues of school fees have been raised, especially in private universities, since they were closed mid-semester. Here now is our reporter George Marenga with more from Meru County.
Thank you. Indeed, the universities reopened today, officially the 5th of October 2020, according to the guidelines by the Ministry of Education. And to just get a feel of how various universities are going about this activity, we are at the Kenya Methodist University main campus in Meru County. And joining me is the Vice-Chancellor, who is Professor David Geshaya, for more on this. And then for joining us on KTN News. Let's start with the modalities of reopening. We understand that KEMU, rather the Kenya Methodist University, didn't fully close when when you were asked to close by the ministry back in March. You have been ongoing with classes, the virtual classes. But with the reopening from the Ministry of Education guidelines, what exactly is going on from today?
Thank you very much, KTN crew. I can say that you are right to have said that since the university is closed, Kenya Methodist University never closed. And we just migrated all the students to online platform, which already used to exist. And we have been conducting teaching, learning, and examinations through virtual learning, virtual mode, using our Canvas system. However, after the ministry guidelines on reopening, because we had to wait for the ministry to open the universities because they had given a circular for closing. And now, after they released the circular for opening, Kenya Methodist University decided those students who are digitally disabled, which means that they could not join learning online, they are now free to come back to the university and complete their studies. The first-year students are also required to register both for virtual learning and also for face-to-face learning. And from today, we have already declared that the university is going to have all the students registered, starting their courses or continuing with their courses both using the virtual mode and also using the face-to-face. We call it blended learning, whereby you can use either mode. Because of facilities, some students might be outside, others might be inside, but to start with, we are going to have phased opening, which means that we are going to allow those ones who didn't do their practicals to come and do their practicals, and then from there they can be able to complete their year and then move on to the next year. For the medical students, the 6th-year students have already reported and they are doing their clinicals. Other students in medicine are going to come and do their examinations towards the end of October. However, the first years, we want to have them as soon as possible. Our campuses, we have decided that they can independently run their programs. So if they decide to offer the programs which are not running and the main campus, they are free to do that. So for us at Kenya Methodist University, we are ready for opening, and we have already done everything for that.
As you end, probably we can talk about the issue of, with reopening comes the issue of school fees. What about had there been an issue to stop that, or rather to pause the payment of fees, or rather with the virtual classes, did that mean that they have to continue the payment of school fees, or how will it be moving forward?
Thank you for that question. At Kenya Methodist University, as I mentioned before, we used to have digital learning mode, which means that already by the time the universities were closed, we were having students who are on the online platform, and the only thing which they didn't use to pay in full was the activity fee. They were not allowed, because they are not within the campus to be able to engage in activities. However, they were still free to join in any tournament, and therefore they used to pay a fraction of that amount. For library, internet, we require to maintain servers. For library, we require to have online materials, which we have already subscribed. As you are aware, is that most of the students don't go for physical books. So those ones who will be doing the virtual learning or running through the online mode, those ones will be given that waiver for the activity fee. However, those ones who are going to be doing the face-to-face, they will be paying the full amount. Please let me also point out that online learning is not cheap. To pay for the crowd and even to maintain the system and to pay for the staff who are supposed to run it 24 hours and the servers is not cheap. It's quite expensive. And also to subscribe for the e-learning materials is also not cheap. But as the students come in, we are going to engage them on that. They are aware that they have to continue running and they have to continue paying to maintain the staff. Even if it is virtual learning mode, we don't pay staff half the salary. We pay full salary. So there is no difference between learning and face-to-face, except for something like activity fee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Indeed, that has been Professor David Gishaya just talking to us the modalities of reopening the university, Kenya Methodist University here in Meru County.